coming on, well, just to review the game today. Um, Rubbish. I think that's the only bloody way I can describe it. The first half was absolutely woeful. Just not looking up, looking for targets, people in the middle. I mean, Anthony Gordon at one point was clear in the first half. Voltimada didn't even pass to him. And of course, Big Nick, I think in the second half, I think he forgot which goal he was aiming at. Really, I've got to say. Just didn't. I mean, it was a cracking goal, but my word, Nick, wrong end, mate. Wrong end, completely wrong end. I just think that when you look at this and you think, a game like this, going up for it on the day, Newcastle were rubbish. Sunderland played okay. They didn't have to get out of top gear because Newcastle didn't. But Sunderland, and I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism for this because using that as an excuse, and it's not an excuse. It really isn't. But in Newcastle's defence, we have had 2 games in the space of a week. Sunderland have had a whole week to prepare for this game. But Newcastle are supposed to be professionals, are they not? And today was not a professional performance, in my opinion. I just thought it was very below par. I think, he kept Johan Wieser on the bench. I think he should have started Murphy instead of Elanga, even though Elanga was okay when he was on the pitch. Jacob Murphy gets what it's all about, and Anthony Gordon. I just don't know what he was up to today. I mean, he was mad with Voltimada when he didn't pass him the ball. He was mad with him for that, but at the same time, I've got to look at it and think, well, had he got through, what would he have done with it? Harvey Barnes should have. It's one of them, and it's an own goal. And I've got to say here and now, Nick Voltimada, had it been in the right goal, I think we might have been talking about a different game. I mean, I've had people saying that, Nick Voltimada, if he hadn't scored a goal, Sunderland wouldn't have scored yet. But no, we can't say that because Sunderland did have a couple of good opportunities. I mean, Aaron Ramsdale in the second half had to pull off a good save at his near post. So it was a good win for Sunderland. And, they on the day, out of the 2 sides, Sunderland wanted it more. That's the bottom line, and it was a good win for them. I've just having a look here. Just looking at some of your comments, guys. We scored the most goals. Yep, yeah, true, you did. They wouldn't have won if it wasn't for us. Thanks, Rich. Absolutely class, that one, yeah. But they would have found a way, I'm sure. Because on the day, they were up for it. They wanted it more than what we did. And they got the right results on the day. Newcastle, we just didn't perform the way we can. And it's just ridiculous that Newcastle players have gone into this game, and I was hoping they weren't going to do it, but they did it. They froze and didn't rise to the occasion, and as a result, Sunderland have got the first 3 points of the season against Newcastle, which is good. They've got themselves their first win in the league against Newcastle in over 10 years, and it's a good one for them. They'll take real confidence from this. But for us, it's a defeat. Is it a bad defeat? No, but it's not a very comfortable one. But I'm reading some of the posts which I'm seeing out there, and oh my word, some of these charlatans out there, some of them drive me fucking mad. They really do. I mean, there's people out there saying, right, Eddie, it's time to go. It's time to go, Eddie. You've done your work, you've done well, but it's time to go. How out? Oh, and all this sort of stuff. Oh, Newcastle board, you need to act now. Oh, come on. You know, Eddie Howe's not doing a bad job. It's not his fault if the players that he puts out there just can't perform on the day. You know, we need to step up to the plate every game. And today we haven't, you know. And Sunderland, as I said, yes, they've had more time to prepare for this game than us. But hey, they were up for it. They were a good team today. They played well. They got stuck in. They were up for the challenge. The stadium was rocking. And they deserved it. They deserved the win. I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Beetle Greg 07. If we beat Sunderland at St James's Park, then it's on us even, and we move on to next season. Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. At the end of the day, we don't play them till March, but if we get to the Carabao Cup final again, then the derby will have to be rescheduled. But I'm sure we'll leave that in the hands of the professionals who organise the fixtures. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, Newcastle and Sunderland, they're big rivals, really big rivals for many years. And, you know, we all work with people from both sides, you know what I mean? And we come together on Derby Day, we watch the game, and, you know, at the end of the day, unless you draw the match, there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. And on the day, Sunderland played well enough today to have won the game. Yes, Newcastle scored an own goal and proved to be the only goal of the game, but that's what happens. You know, it's part and parcel of football. The bragging rights go to Sunderland for the minute, and well done to them. I've got to say it, well done, because they've won the game. There'll be people out there now, you know, sobbing in the streets because we've lost this game. Oh, Christmas is ruined. Oh, that's the end of it now. Oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, give our man. It's a game of football. You know, at the end of the day, you know, would us Newcastle fans be, you know, would we be praising Sunderland for their performance had we won today? Yeah, well, probably, yeah. But we would have said if Sunderland had played as bad as us today, then, you know, would they have said it, that we were, you know, any good? Nah. No. Newcastle just weren't good enough today. On the day, they weren't good enough to beat Sunderland. They didn't rise to the occasion, and well done to Sunderland. They won. End of. That's what I think of it today. And keeping it short and sweet, guys. Well done to Sunderland. They turned up. They played the game. And they won. And I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, guys, because I'm just rabbiting on. I'm not going to see any players that stood out for Newcastle today because I don't really think anybody stood out today. It's absolutely unbelievable, you know, that Newcastle couldn't rise to the occasion. But that's the way it is, you know. Was it the atmosphere? Was it the pitch? Was it fatigue? Who knows? But they didn't win. Sunderland won. We didn't. So there's no point getting aerated about it. There's no point getting arsey about it. There's no point shouting your mouth off about it because it doesn't change anything. You know, it doesn't change the game. It doesn't change the score. It's unbelievable. You know, that these guys out there, professional footballers, can't put on a show on Derby Day, but, you know, that's just the way it is. So it's a bad defeat, but we take it on the chin, guys, and we go again. You know, it's, you know, it's a defeat. We're disappointed, but we go again. And that's the way I look at it. We go again. And, you know, there will be people out there who will be absolutely raging about this. And I'm getting some of these comments on here. Stop talking. Shut up. Oh, God. Honestly, you know, it's unbelievable. It really is. It's incredible. You know, people are the bloody charlatans out there. You know, they're sobbing in the bloody streets. It's a football match, for goodness sake. Get a grip. Goodness me. We've lost the game. We've lost to our local rivals. You know, we've lost to a team who've been doing well this season, and they've got absolutely, you know, a decent side, I've got to say. They've got a decent side, and they deserve the win today. So I'm not gonna beat around it. Newcastle were crap today, and we haven't played well. And people won't like me saying that, but we are. Today, we are rubbish. Next game, we might be great. We might be superb. We might be excellent in the next game. But not today. We've lost 1-0, guys. So there's no point bleating around bleating on about it. I'm not beating around the bush. We were terrible. And there's no point sending negative vibes and causing trouble in the streets and what have you, because it's not going to change the result. You know what I mean? And just enjoy the day. If you're a Sunderland supporter, enjoy the day. But don't be getting on to Newcastle fans. Don't be rubbing it in their faces, because at the end of the day, that's how problems start. So that's a warning to people out there. Just enjoy it, Don't get yourselves into bother over a football match. That's for sure. Newcastle fans as well, if the shoe had been on the other foot, just enjoy the moment. And, we go again in the next match. And we look forward to Christmas, and we look forward to the rest of the season. And that's what we've got to do. And that's just the way I see it. It's on the day, Newcastle United weren't good enough to beat Sunderland, And that's just the way of it. And it's absolutely unbelievable to think that, it's people think that Eddie Howe should be relieved of his duties, and I'm seeing some of these players need to be moved out. Yeah, some players do, but there's no point getting at the manager. No point getting at Eddie Howe. He doesn't play the football on the pitch. The players play the football. He's puts his tactics out there, but he's doing what he thinks right as a manager. Because what I say to Newcastle fans out there who are complaining about Eddie Howe, well, that if you're so good, why aren't you in the dugout? Yeah? Why are you sitting at home shouting your mouth off about it? Why are you in the stadium sitting watching the game instead of playing it or managing it? Because you're not at his level. He's a professional manager. Leave the guy alone. Let him get on with the job, and let's move on to the next game. So let's just forget about it. It's gone. We move on. And that's all I'm going to say, guys. I'm just seeing some of these lovely comments coming through. Everybody saying hi. Absolutely great to hear from you all. Ashton Williams there. YouTube King. Hi from Iran. Radin, you master. Fantastic to hear from you as well. And, say what you want, guys. At the end of the day, just bouncing off me. It's incredible. It's absolutely unbelievable. But a great win for Sunderland today. A bad day for Newcastle. And that's the way of it. So go off and enjoy yourselves, guys. Have a drink. Do what you're doing. I'll catch up with you all soon. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching. My view on the game today was Newcastle weren't good enough. And well done, Sunderland. You deserve the win. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.